Hey everybody, it's Angel from Halo Inspirations. We give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. Merry Christmas Wednesday, everybody. I'm here with...
Me.
Here's me.
Oh, I'm Ma'am.
Mayhem, yes. Mayhem and I are here. Yes, we are. And a video did drop. And as you all saw, hi there, Sherry. Glad to see you. It is our first Santa cookie rug for the last... Oh, you can't hear me? Sharina says she can't hear me. Can you check my audio? It says it's picking me up, so I'm
I can hear
confused.
you.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you.
What?
And thank you for the feedback. Just making sure everything looks good. Yeah, and I got it all the way turned up, and yeah. Okay. And you should be able to hear Michael too. So maybe Sharina,
Uh,
it's on Facebook that she says she can't hear me. Sherry's on. Sherry,
yeah,
can you?
that's what I
Okay.
went to text.
Oh, okay. And everything
I
sounds
can
good so
hear
far?
me and
Okay.
you. Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just try to hit refresh, Sharina, or maybe, I know it's going to sound silly, but maybe you got to turn the volume up. Sometimes I
Or the
forget.
video's muted. Sometimes the
Or the
YouTube video's
video's muted. That's true, because normally when it starts, sometimes you have to hit the button. You're right about that, Michael. So it is our first Santa cookie rug for the two that come out at the very end in December. So we've got one more left. And as a special treat that y'all were aware of, Sassy Steph from You Hear Fine, thank you. Sassy Steph from Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter was the one that came up with this inspiration for this week. And it is super darling if you haven't seen the video. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this block. We did say, God willing, Mary. I got Mary on the brain. Stephanie was supposed to join us today. However, something came up and she wasn't able to attend. So I wanted to let y'all know in case you were looking forward to her. She's good to go. She just had something come up and, she couldn't make it today. So we're going to keep rolling because that's how business works. I mean, not business. No business like show business. Yeah, that's where my head was going. So this is the Santa cookie rug for this week. Yep, that's my drawing. Michael cracked up when he saw this the first time. And I crack up every time I see it because that's my drawing. So one of the things I wanted to say about that is if you think it can't draw so you can't free motion quilt, I'm proofing the pudding, okay? I cannot draw, but I
You're
can
what
free
in the
motion
what?
quilt.
You're
Say,
what in the what?
huh? Free motion quilt?
What was that? No, you said something about pudding. What?
I don't
What
know.
was that?
Proofing the pudding.
What's that?
Oh, Sharina says she couldn't hear on Facebook. She can hear us on YouTube, not Facebook. Okay. It's like a saying, Michael. Proofing the pudding. You never
That's
heard
a
that?
saying? No,
Yeah.
that's
Am
a
I
new one.
crazy,
All
guys?
right.
Let Mayhem know if I'm
Probably.
crazy.
I mean, never mind.
Okay, one of the things about the
Sure.
video one of the things about the video that I noticed was that there were no words that were supposed to be words. So this is what I learned, Michael. So we can talk after the video about our editing software. I think I know what's happened to you in the past because it happened to me. So I actually redid it and it's very easy. And then I got to thinking, so many of y'all have already seen it, comments already posted, all this stuff. So I let it ride. I'm going to let it ride. So I'm going to talk about proof in the pudding. Yes, it's an old saying. Whoop, whoop. That is an old saying. Yes. Woo. Okay, I'm not crazy because I don't always say things right. um,
I don't trust when she says saying because it's normally made up, said, and changed drastically. So I don't believe anything when it comes to sayings.
yes, I know, Michael. So that's good. I
Yeah.
got some proof in the pudding with these.
Hey,
with
you
these.
got. Yeah. Just
Anyway,
sounds weird.
it does sound weird. I don't know. It's just what it is. So, okay, one of the things about the words, I was supposed to put the handle, and it was there. It just didn't. It didn't create it correctly. But so you didn't see it basically. But it was for her handle for Instagram. So if you're on IG, she's Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter, all one word, no space, but it's also in the description box in the video that dropped this morning. So it's all there. And I noticed a couple links were funny, and one of them is because we got new handles on YouTube, and I went to copy paste and it didn't work, so I had to figure all that out. That's a new thing, but that's irrelevant. The other thing I wanted to tell y'all, as far as I said that I would put the words below on what I use to mark and draw and color and whatever, and they weren't there. So what it is, I used my Arteza fabric markers, and the thing I like, they're nice. They don't bleed. They don't fade as much as some of the other products. And they're non-toxic. So for kids, I want to do 2 of these next year. So I'm going to send some fabric to my grandchildren, and probably a small pack of these, not necessarily 30 colors, and allow them the opportunity to do their own drawing. Or as Sassy Steph made a comment, she said that you could do a Christmas list even, which I thought was pretty cool, because it's a memory. So, down the road, they'll be able to look back at that and remember that time that they used their Santa cookie rug with their own creativity on it. So they are Arteza. I got them off of Amazon, guys. They weren't very expensive. And so I just wanted to give you that information. Let's see. What was the...
Fast.
Yes.
Where's your mic?
Over here? Why? Can you not hear me?
No. Just lean closer to it real quick.
Huh?
Lean closer to it and talk. Lean closer to it.
Yeah. Why?
So the mic that's being used through Discord is not that. Just so you
know. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all good. So you just sound super... It's sometimes hard to understand.
Oh, I'm on my earbuds. Yeah. That would probably be why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Sorry. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Michael, because I need you to be able to hear clearly too. Okay, so that's that. The Arteza. I also did. There was words for this. I said at the very start of the second method, I said 4-inch blocks. They're 4.5. I did say 4.5 the rest of the video, but I want to be very clear. They're 4.5 for the second method, which I'm deeming the Lori Holt method, because that's where I learned it from. It's in a lot of her pattern books as far as the method goes. It's not her measurements, but it's her methods. And I saw it on a video once. So I wanted to, the Lori Holt method is 4.5-inch blocks for this Santa cookie rug. Okay. So I wanted to be clear on that. And the last thing I said, 1.5 inches. I only needed 1 inch, extra going around when I quilted, because all I did was stitch in a ditch. So if you were free motion quilting, a lot of people like 2 inches all the way around, which is what I said, but with 18.5-inch backing and batting, that's not going to give you 2 inches. It's going to give you 1 all the way around on each side. So if you want the 2, you'd need a 20.5-inch square of fabric for your backing. Okay. I didn't need it, and my fat quarter worked brilliantly, because it's 18 by ish by 22 ish. You know how that works. So it worked beautifully. And if you're not doing anything crazy, because I told you, make it easy on yourself. This isn't supposed to be super hard or anything, unless you really enjoy stuff like that, or you have the time, and you need the extra space. Just be aware of that. So there is that. Oh, at the very beginning, I did mention magic reindeer food, and I said I'd talk about it at the end of the video, and yeah, that didn't happen. But you saw a little glass, and I have some oatmeal in here. I don't have all the ingredients, because there's different ingredients that you put in here. And then you take it and you spread it out on the lawn with your child, or with your husband or your wife or your boyfriend, girlfriend, niece, nephew, grandson, whatever, right? You could do it together. It's a lot of fun, but the idea is that it helps the reindeer find your home to make sure that they get there correctly. So it's called Magic Reindeer Food, and we have a recipe for it for free for you guys. And it talks about the ingredients and what you're supposed to do with it and things like that. So it's on the original video. It's on the drop. I'll put it in here too. I'll put the link in the description after I get off. But it's in the original video description box. Magic Reindeer Food. If you click it, you have a choice to subscribe to our newsletter, but you're not required to. So you can hit no, and I'll still send it to you. Okay. Or you can join the Be Inspired newsletter, and it'll still come to you, and then you're subscribed. So it's completely up to you. I always offer the choice because if it's free, that means it's free, right? So Magic Reindeer Food, if you're interested, I'll put the link here after the video. Let me write a note or I'll forget. But then also, it's already on the description box of the original video. Okay. Reindeer food. All right. Man, you should see my notes. Look at this. Okay. So, if you have any comments or questions or concerns, just not concern. Well, yeah, concerns too, but questions, comments, suggestions, whatever. That's what we're here for. So don't hesitate to drop in the comment box wherever you are, Facebook or YouTube, which I noticed Sharina switched over. So, oh no, she switched back maybe. No, she switched over. Oatmeal and glitter is the recipe you used. Yeah. There's something else, I think, other than glitter in our recipe. I can't remember because I haven't done it in forever. And all I did was put oatmeal for show and tell. Because you can put glitter. You can also leave the glitter out if you're worried about glitter on the lawn for whatever reason. Of course, they do have edible. Of course, it's sugar. So, I don't know. Sugar's not good for dogs. But I can't imagine they'll lick just straight up glitter. At any rate, yes, it is something like that. There's other stuff in there, though, if I remember correctly. So, and it gives you the approximate amounts for a good size amount to sprinkle and have a little fun. I know my kids liked it, and I know my grandson loved it. So, it's out there for you, and it's free. Okay. So, two other things I wanted to talk about. So I did another one where I didn't draw anything, okay? And I went ahead and I appliqued Eric's name. And I told y'all in the video, I did it because it only had 4 letters. And I didn't want to do a whole bunch right before a video. So, I could have picked Tam because that's 3 letters. But she would have begged me to send it to her because it had her name on it, and I didn't want to do that. So, at any rate, one of the things that Eric noticed, which he's absolutely correct, is it would have been better if I would have done his name in my striped fabric that I used in the binding. I think that would have been absolutely awesome. But it was already done. And to be real with you guys, I don't know that I would have had enough fabric because I spent 2 hours with my Cricut because I'm still learning how to do it. And I went through a lot of fabric goofing up. So it is what it is. But he's right. The other thing he thought of, that these would make really great placemats. They're big enough for a good sized dinner plate. And I had a thought about that. So you could actually do your own. And if you can paint or draw or color or something like that, or embroider if you are capable of doing something really nice inside your own block, and then you could do the names of your guests, that would be fun. But also, I don't know about y'all, but growing up, when I would go to my grandma's house, they had the kids' table. Okay? So I was thinking how, if you have that experience, how fun would it be if you made them placemats for the kids' table and they know where they needed to sit? Wouldn't that be fun? That would be so fun, I think. So that was another idea that came about. Now, one last thing, and I know that Sharina actually commented about it on the video. I did the directional fabric, and 2 of them ended up being sideways. This is a sideways one. This one's straight up, right? Okay. Well, I'll tell you why. You can still do it with the half square triangle method that I used, but I'm going to show you just how that works. So let me switch cameras here. Got to turn down the light because I'll blind you guys out. Ooh, that's not... See, this is why I do it before I switch, because, man, y'all would have been like, what are you doing? Stop moving and we'll be happy. All right. Boom. Okay, let me get all this stuff so it's not in your way. Good idea. Then guests can bring home, right? How fun would that be? Okay, that's another good thing, is they could take it home and then they'd have something for their house. Okay, so switching cameras here. There we go. I always look for the button. Okay, so this is the exact same print that I used. Let me know if you can see the little lines. That's where the string is to hang on your tree, right? So this is up, okay? And what I showed you was that you basically take it and fold it in half, corner to corner, in a direction, and you want to you put it down the way that it would go on your mat, on your churn dash, okay? So this is upside down, but down on the other corner, it would be right side up. And of course, if I flip it, this way's right side up, right? But one of them will be upside down. It's just the nature, okay? So I'm going to put this one back because I like it right side up. All right. Now, as far as the other way goes, check this out, guys. So we fold one direction and we get these up and down correctly, okay? If we fold it the other direction, well, how do I do this? Hold on, I got to think about it. Well, no, that way. Yeah. If we fold it the other direction, no. How did that work? I just did this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And it was in this corner, it would be sideways, right? But if I move it to a different corner, look what happens. It's up and down. So, I wanted to let y'all know I should have done what I said to do. I didn't listen to myself. You fold them in half and you lay them out how they would go on your block, and then you'll know which way to fold. Or it's not a fold, but where you cut down the middle, where you're going to put your lines to sew. Okay? Oh. Hi there, Mary. Glad to see you. Yeah. Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I've been talking and nothing.
Oh.
I've asked like 30 questions. Nothing. Oh, well. I don't know what happened there.
Okay. Well, you're back now.
Now I'm back. Yeah, I had to leave and come back. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. But I am back. So.
Okay. Do you have a question you remember?
No, I don't. It's fine.
Okay.
Because I went through like 5 minutes of hello, okay. And then like trying to see, like the stream couldn't even hear me. By the way.
Oh, that's weird.
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know what happened. No, it's okay. You're good. No, It's not your fault. Something happened. It's all good. I fixed it. We're back.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, that is the correct way to do it. If you want to know which way to draw the two lines when you have directional fabric, you sew on each line and cut down the middle, right? So fold it and place it where it will be going in the right way that it'll be going, and see if it's facing the correct direction. Okay. And if you do that with 2 of them, you'll know and you can just flip them around and make sure they still work. One of them will be upside down. Okay. It's just, so I would have done the bottom upside down just because. So that does happen, but I have 2 sideways and life goes on. So it's not supposed to be complicated whatsoever. Okay. So there is that. Let me come back at you for a second. How do I do this? Okay. Every time, guys. Every time. Okay. The last thing. And I hope that made sense to y'all. If it didn't make sense, let me know. The last thing that I want to share. I did talk about that and I hope this works.
Oh,
I
I
did
do
talk.
remember one of my questions.
Okay, go ahead before I move on.
What did you know they make exploding reindeer poop now?
No.
It's poppers, like the poppers from Fourth of July. That's what it is, but they have them as exploding reindeer poop.
Okay.
Yeah, I just found that
Interesting.
the other. Yeah. Sorry,
We
continue.
are infatuated with poop anymore because we also
I
talk about
just
unicorn poop. So, no, I meant
no,
us as a
yeah,
society. It's like crazy.
right,
So
no,
now,
yeah.
that wouldn't help the reindeer find your house, though. I would imagine they think that's the dumping zone, but that's just my opinion. Anyway,
Well, maybe they come faster. You know, they're like, oh, I gotta poop. Let's stop there.
oh, okay. You're so
Yeah.
crazy. All right, the last thing I did tell y'all, I didn't have the binding on this one is glued, but it's not stitched all the way. I put it on the front and I went ahead and glued it. And the reason is because I'm actually going to do, I'm hoping this will work, a little bit of a demo about my binding and give you some tips and tricks. Now, it's really funny, I think, because I'm actually practicing with 2¼ instead of 2½. And it takes a little practice, okay? The technique's the same, but one's bigger than the other, right? So I'm going to talk about that here after I show you a little bit of a demo. So I'm actually going to pull you in. Last but not least, I had a subscriber ask, or a cherub ask, if when you glue it, does it go away? Or does it stay? Does the glue stay? I use Roxanne's Glue Based It, and it's temporary. It's water soluble, pH of neutral, so it doesn't hurt your fabric. And when you wash it, it will go away. Now, a lot of people also use Elmer's washable school glue. Nothing wrong with that. I actually went and did a research a few months ago, and I think it's a pH level of neutral also. Don't quote me on that. You'll probably be able to see it on the bottle. If it's neutral, it'll tell you. Or you can find it on their website. That's where I found it, is on Elmer's Glue website. And I went and looked for washable school glue. So I think it's also neutral. But even if it's not, lots of people use it and they're fine. They say it washes out good. Their fabric is great. So I wanted to let y'all know I'm just very favorable to the Roxanne's Glue Based It because I absolutely love it. And you know, when you love something, it's really hard to change, right? So I trust it. I love it. That's what I use. But I wanted to give you the option that people also use the Elmer's washable school glue. And some people use an acorn glue. I think it's called acorn. I think that's washable. I don't know much about it, so don't quote me on that. But I think it's washable also. There we go. Just want to make sure we're good. Okay, so I need to get, again, we're going to switch screens. Okay, because I have to be sure that y'all will be able to see something with this. I hope my camera stays and doesn't move. All right. So, and if anybody uses something else besides Elmer's, or if you know the acorn stuff, because I'm not really familiar with it, and you like it, or you find it a good product, or if there's something else you use, just please drop it in the comments, because we all would love to hear about that. Okay. So, what I'm doing, I'm going to get this sucker started. I always start either on the side or the bottom. So here's what I want to talk about with, what's this stuff called? Stitch in the ditch. I want to tell you that is when you're doing this in a quilt, okay? Some people like to stitch in the ditch outside along the seam on either side, okay? And I'm one that stitches in the ditch. There is no right or wrong way to do it. It is completely quilter's choice, okay? It's up to you which method that you like to stitch in the ditch, okay? The reason I find it more advantageous in binding the way that I do it is because of what happens on the back, okay? And of course on the front, because I've got a red thread loaded, and if I stitch away from the ditch, then you're going to see that red thread in the front, which is what I'm trying to avoid, okay? So when I stitch in the ditch, when you attach your binding on the front and then you flip it over, and of course I glued on the back and I did my miter corners, what you get is a mountain and a valley. That means this is higher, this fabric is higher, and this one is lower. So whenever I go to do this, I'm going to do just a little stretch, but when I go to do it, I pull it apart just a little. I stitch inside the ditch on the valley side. So when you do that and you let go, this fabric covers it a little bit and it makes it more hidden. Okay? So this is all stitched in the ditch, but the stitches aren't like way out there because this mountain covers it just a little bit. It sinks down into that seam. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just stitching a little bit because I want to talk about the corner. And hopefully I do some magic with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I should pull up my sleeves so they're not in the way. Now my camera this is new for me being so close. But I'm going to go down just a little further because I'm just starting this. All right, I'm going to go in. And then I'm holding on to my top thread because I'm going to go ahead and pull up the bobbin so it doesn't nest in the back. Maybe. There we go. Pull that back. There we go. See how pretty that worked? And of course, I need my tweezers because I'm in love with them. I think Mary uses a hat pin, which is another great tool. All right. Let's just get them both out here. Wow, them are long. I'll be snipping those later. Okay, now I like to go back into the hole of which I came. So I'm just going to lift my presser foot, and that way that the feed dogs don't grab the fabric and move it, because ask me how I know that. So I'm just going to go back in, and actually I need to move over a little. Okay, put my presser foot down. And I'm just going to go to the corner, and I'm going to talk about the corners with the miters, okay? So we're just going to, whoop, I'm a little out in Nova Scotia. There we go. Now notice I'm not running. It's a walking foot, okay? So I do go a little bit slower when I do this stitch in the ditch. When I try to get fancy and go faster, I usually get wibbly wobblies. Yeah, those are technical terms.
Got it. Wiggle. Okay.
Okay.
Yep, those.
Now, what the dealio is here, when you're coming up, this corner is mitered, right? And what you'll want, I'm going to show you underneath the overhead exactly what happens with a couple of methods with this, okay? But you're going to come up just like normal, and the idea is that you hit one stitch on the other side of the miter corner. Just one. Okay, that is the key. Does it always happen? No. But that is the way it works the best. And I'll show you an example of why it works the best in just a second with the other one that I've done. Okay. So I'm going to attempt to hit one stitch. Just one. Then I lift my presser foot. My needle is still down, and I'm going to give it a turn. Now it's a little canter. It's a little bit like if I went straight, remember I'm on this new piece, so I've got to come back just a little bit, back into the ditch, and then start down the next row. And you'll go all the way around just like this. So those are my tips and tricks. And like I said, it does take a little bit of practice. But it is my favorite method. Okay. So I'm going to switch back just a second because you don't need to watch me sew the whole thing because I walk with my walking foot. So let me go back here for just a second. All right. Oh, glasses would be good. Okay. Now I promised y'all, so I'm going to keep this underneath my needle so I can finish it. All right, moving some of this stuff out that we've talked about. I should probably pull my hair up. I probably should have done that earlier. All right, so whoop, I just knocked the other camera, but we're not using it. On this one, I actually did one perfect or near perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. And then I have an example of what not to do. Let me see. Yeah, okay. Let me switch cameras again. All right. Is everybody still with me? Y'all are so quiet.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Thank you.
I'm watching.
I'm going to come down a little closer. Well, you know what that means?
What does that mean?
That means I got to move the camera a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah. Whoop. I got stuff flying. Notice, look. Oh, you can't see. I use boxes to mount my camera, guys, at different heights. All right. Okay, turn the light back up because y'all won't be able to see that. I can't see it. That's better. I'm hoping this doesn't blind out. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I'm going to try to make this really close. Oh, it's hard to see, but I'm gonna give it my best here. That's what counts, right? Hit transition for you guys. Okay, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it as well as I can without being in a camera. I was looking for something to point with, but I'm pulling it open just a, whoops, might be helpful if I was underneath the camera. I went literally one stitch. So I came down this way, okay? Here, I need something to show you all this. This is going to drive me crazy. Okay, this will work. I don't know what I did with my snips, so those work better. All right. I came down and see if I pull it open, I can even see the stitches even more. Because remember, I stitch on the valley side. Okay, so the stitches get hidden by the mountain when it closes, when it goes over by itself, by naturally. Okay, so I came down this side and man, guys, right there, I'm not even kidding. One stitch right on top. So I came down and I went one stitch on top of after the miter, after that fold, just one stitch. I nailed this one. And then I turned it and I went all the way down the other side. Okay. So what happens when you do that? Whoop, might help if your stitch on the back side lands right on your miter corner. And it makes a beautiful stitch. What happens when you go too far or not far enough? I'm trying to find a good example. Okay, right here, I came across, and if you'll notice, my point, my turn isn't with the miter. Is it that big of a deal, guys? No, it's not. I'm gonna adjust this light. Close your eyes for a second. I don't know if that helps. You're funny, Michael. So when I made that turn, I went too far onto the other miter. So I came down this side and then I went over. I actually went one stitch, but I went on this other side before going back into the ditch. Whoops. I went back down the other side too long on the binding fabric. Okay. So the turn didn't make it correct. Okay. That's what that is. So that's the key. Does it always happen? No. Okay. Now, the reason I really do like to use this method, okay, is because I always get just a little bit of now I'm still practicing, so my flap's not completely perfect, but the 2 1/4 gives you a smaller lip Okay, because that you can see where my stitch is right here, and there's a little bit of a lip. To me, it looks like flanging, so I'm good with it. Okay, when you do a 2.5 and you don't have binding, you know how like you can square your quilt and you have like a 1/4 inch of binding, or not binding, backing, not backing. A 1/4 inch of batting that you leave outside. If you leave that, that's a good time to do the 2.5. If you square your quilt to the fabric and you don't have extra batting, 2.25 works better. Okay. Just a FYI. Now, some people like to add their binding to the, add their binding to the back, and then they flip it over, and then they stitch down the front. Okay, and they can have even a smaller lip because they can see it. However, what happens when you do that is on the back, I call it stitching in Nova Scotia. Okay, so what'll happen is, it's true. It's a true story, Michael. It's another technical term. But what'll happen?
I'm learning all these super technical terms.
But it'll have a stitch out here away from your batting, off your quilt. Every great blue moon, you might nail it, right? Or you might get some on the batting or on the binding, and then some out in the quilt, and then back up into the binding, and it doesn't always work real good. Okay, is the bottom line. Now it can, if you're matching your thread, if you match your thread that you're using for the binding to the quilting, it can look like it was intentional. So there's nothing wrong with that method if you're okay with that aesthetic. If you want it a little bit more clean, okay, especially if you're using a different color, because imagine if I had a black binding here and I wanted to use a black thread, you're not going to see it up here in the front. But you're going to see it if it lands inside my quilt, because this is not black. So it will stick out like a sore thumb. Okay. So it really does depend, but there's no right or wrong method. I'm just giving you the reasons that I like this method and the reason why I like that method. But there's nothing wrong with either way. Okay. I don't want to come across saying that it's my way or the highway and, you know, the other ways are just whatever. No, that's not true. I'm going to come back at you now, guys. Let me switch. Gotta find the right button. Okay. You're making overnight caramel French toast for dinner? Oh my gosh. Oh,
I don't know what that is, but that sounds...
Doesn't it sound delicious? Really good, yeah. Oh my god.
Right.
Okay. And caramel? Mm-hmm. Okay. French toast? Mm-hmm.
French toast. That's the part.
So it's really important that I express don't let anybody tell you what you're doing is wrong. Okay? There's so many ways to skin a cat. Listen, I used the right one. I know it. I know that's true. There are so many methods.
Do you know what that first one means?
No.
No, of course not. All right, you're just using things. Cool.
So, as long as you come to the end of something you like, or you're coming to, the correct block that you were supposed to make, because if you're told to sew one direction and you decide to sew something else, you might not get the block, right? But if you're coming to the end and you're happy, that is all that matters. That's it, guys. That's all that matters. So don't let anybody else steal your joy and your happiness, and you do you, okay? So I just wanted to share this because I've had questions about it, and I wanted to offer some just a little bit more detail with how I do my binding. And it's faster, believe it or not, than me hand stitching it. So that's the other reason. I used to hand bind the back. I put it on the front, flipped it over, and hand bind, but yeah, I don't do that anymore. So at any rate, yeah, that's what I had for today. Making sure I'm checking my notes. That craziness. Reindeer food I gotta do after. Okay. That's it, guys. That's what I got for you. I hope that was helpful. And I hope the cherub that I did reply to her, and I will tell you, the one that asked if it would stay, and if you wash it, it goes away, right? You do have to stitch it though, if you plan on washing. Now, funny story, when I was going through things, trying to figure out how I was going to show you stuff, I was looking at the backs of these other Santa cookie rugs, and what I found out, so after I'm done with this one that I have under my needle, I have yet to stitch the binding on. It's just glued. So that was last year. It's still on there. So it will hold, and because it's got a pH of neutral, it's not going to hurt the fabric, okay? But it's still there. So it's ready for me if you get, like backed up on binding. But if you just get it glued, you can come back to it. It's still there. It's ready for me to bind. But if I would wash that right now, all that glue is going to go away. Okay? And if you're wondering why I use glue, when you saw me stitching in a ditch, you know I can't see what's underneath. So by gluing it, it allows me to know that it's going to be there. And I'm going to hit it. And it's not going to fold somewhere. It's not going to get wonkety wonk, right? There's another technical term, Michael. So, that's why, and it allows me to get really, really pretty miters because I can force it to go where I want it to go. Okay. And it stays. It stays. That red one, it stays. It's still there. So, all right. So I hope that was helpful. And I hope you enjoyed this Santa cookie rug. I think it's such a neat idea to be able to really put some of the child's, if you're going to do this for a child, creativity of their own. And you know how kids love to draw and color, and you could even, you can print with inkjet printers, right? You could take a coloring page and basically instead of printing it on paper, there's a method to this. Like you could put it on freezer paper, the fabric, but you can send it through your printer, just making sure that it will fit within 8.5 inches, right? Because you're going to have to piece it into your thing. But you could print a coloring picture if they're not necessarily great at drawing or not great at it, but haven't got those skills down yet, but they like to color. You can do that also by just printing something out from your inkjet printer. It has to be an inkjet. It can't be the other kind. So I thought of that, and I thought that would be fun for certain ages. Hey there, Colleen Sews and Chats. Wonkety wonk. You're good with that term. We all experience wonkety wonk, don't we, Colleen? I think every quilter knows what wonkety wonk means, because wonkety wonk is a real thing. It happens to us all. And sometimes we let the wonkety wonk go, and sometimes we get a date with Jack. So we all know about that too. But that's what I got for today. I appreciate everybody coming by. It's okay, Colleen. I know this is a driving time or something like that with you, or phone call time, something. So yeah, hashtag Team Replay. We'll check it all out. I got some, I have some follow-ups on the video, of course, and then I did a little demo on how a short one on how I stitch in the ditch and I turn the corners for the binding. So you might like that. But at any rate, I'm going to let y'all get going. I hope if you make one of these, share it with me, please. We would love, love, love. And I'll make sure Sassy Steph, actually, if you share any with me, I'll ask if I can share it with her, because this is her inspiration. So she knocked it out of the park, guys. I mean, knocked it out of the park. I absolutely love this idea, and I can't wait to send off a little fabric and some coloring tools, these fabric marker things, to my grandchildren so that I can make it for them for next year's Santa cookie rug. Of course, we'll have 2 new ones. That's just going to be on the side, right? My own little personal gift to them. But at any rate, yep, thank you for stopping by. It's been absolutely fun. Next week is another Santa cookie rug, and this one is supposed to be geared towards adults, and it is, in my head. but I can see how it can go to a child too. You laughed at that, Michael, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I did.
because it was in my
Fine.
head. Yeah, it might get
Yeah.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's in your head.
Yeah. You too, Colleen. Have a wonderful day. And so I'll see you all next week. I will be in Cherub Chit Chat no, not Cherub Chit Chat. Creative Kingdom for happy hour this Saturday at 3 p.m. for those of you who are in our private Facebook group. And if you're interested, all you got to do is click the link below and make sure you answer the 3 questions, and we'll give you the keys. And you can come along at happy hour. And it's just a time for us to sit, chit chat, and sew together. And
Sometimes.
then sometimes, yeah, well, everybody else sews. I usually chit chat.
Yeah.
But then I am still doing the Christmas for Countdown. For those who are coming along for that, this has been a lot of fun. I love chit-chatting with you guys. So that'll be tonight, Monday through Friday. I try to do 8 o'clock at night this year. I might change it next year. Michael and I are talking about that. But then and over the weekend, I'm doing 2:30 on Saturday and Sunday. So hope to see you all there if that is something. And yes, Miss Mary, thank you for stopping by. Thank you all. And until next time. May you all continue to be inspired, productive, ever so joyful. Never stop believing, and never stop making your dreams in quilting come true. Michael?
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Yes. And you know what, guys? Merry Christmas to you all. I'll see you very soon.